This is music, and this video is brought to you by the Kitchen of Freaks. It's not brought to you by anyone other than this idiot right here. So, welcome to another First Impressions video. In these videos, I share with you my first impressions of the many blind buys I've picked up lately. This time I have a little bit more than a handful of CDs to talk about, so let's get right into it. Up first, this one here, Apocalypse by Arachnes. I believe these guys are from Italy or at least somewhere in Southern Europe, and it is power metal. So, yes, this right here is cheesy. However, this one has a lot of, I think, really cool things going on for it. First of all, while the vocalist has your typical Euro power metal voice, he actually does not sound wimpy. He actually sounds powerful. So, that's really cool. Secondly, the musicianship is pretty amazing, which is not actually atypical when it comes to power metal, but it's just particularly amazing on this album. And thirdly, you have a lot of symphonic and epic elements that normally I think in power metal they contribute to it being cheesy and wimpy and all that stuff. But on this album right here, they kind of make it sound progressive. So they kind of turned it into a progressive power metal album, and I think that's really cool. So there are lots of like dimensions and details and ebbs and flows, and it's super interesting when you listen to it. Great riffs, lots of power as well. Awesome songs. Things do get a little bit too cheesy for me every now and then, but this one just has too many good moments for anyone to justifiably just reject it as wimpy, cheesy power metal. It's actually very, very, very enjoyable in my opinion. And if you like your prog power metal, maybe you want to check that one out. Up next, we have this one here, Deadheads. This one goes to 11. This is retro hard rock, I would say, with a lot of elements from boogie rock and rock and roll even. And also like 60s and early 70s hard rock. They definitely, I think, take a lot of inspiration from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. This is actually really good. It's kind of up-tempo, uplifting, high-energy hard rock. Um, However, there wasn't like a single song that stood out to me as being particularly outstanding. But throughout the whole album, just solid and very enjoyable stuff. If you like your kind of retro hard rock, new wave of traditional heavy metal and all that stuff, Deadheads, they might be worth checking out. I enjoyed this one in any case. Up next, we got three albums by the same band. We are talking Faster Pussycat. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Actually, while I was listening to these Faster Pussycat albums, I learned that recently the singer's fiance had fallen overboard from a cruise ship, fallen to her death, and as of me shooting this, they have yet to find her body. And this is very, very tragic, of course. But the thing occurred right after a heated argument between her and the singer of Faster Pussycat, and now there's a lot of speculation and stuff. And I don't want to go into any speculation, but I will be honest and say that that did make the experience of listening to those CDs kind of weird. I mean, first of all, it's a tragedy, that she passed away like that, and then all the weird speculation and stuff. So it just made it weird, but you know, let's talk about the music. So Faster Pussycat, the debut album, uh, a lot of people adore this album, and I think a lot of people say this is their best album. Uh, I quite enjoy that. album right here for sure, but I think while it has a lot of really good songs on it, it kind of sounds incomplete to me. It sounds like there's some dimensions missing to it. Um, I couldn't help but thinking, that or I couldn't help but think when I listened to it, they could have done more with this. You have a lot of good songs on here, and I quite like that it has kind of a punky attitude, especially in Bathroom Wall, and the lyrics are kind of humorous in places and obviously sleazy in places. Um, I don't know, there's just like something missing from this. You do have some songs that to me are kind of filler and kind of silly that I think shouldn't have been on the album, but whatever. So I think this is a an enjoyable sleaze rock, glam metal album, but there's just something missing from it. So I don't enjoy it as much as the Faster Pussycat fandom they seem to enjoy it much more than me. But definitely, it's an enjoyable sleaze rock album. I liked this one here much better, though. Wake Me Up When It's Over. Or is it just Wake Me When It's Over? Yeah. I liked this one much better. It's basically the same style, maybe without the punky attitude. Same style, just feels more fleshed out. It feels more complete. The guitar tone is much heavier, which I appreciate. And some of the songs are downright metal songs in this one, like the opening track, where there's a whip, there's a way. That one is great. So I think this was much, much more enjoyable to me. It sounds more complete. I don't know if the Faster Pussycat fandom rules allow you to like this one here more than this one, but in any case, that's just the way things are. I think there are some more interesting things going on as well in this one, and this one doesn't really have that much filler stuff either. I also enjoyed Whipped more than the debut album, but not as much as Wake Me When It's Over. This one is not as heavy, doesn't have to be, um, and it has some filler stuff, if I'm being honest, as well. Like there's a song called Cat Bash, which is a callback to a song I think on the debut album, and I think they're both too silly and worthless in my opinion. And you have some ballads on here that you know I could do without, but there's some good hard rockers too, for sure. So I definitely enjoyed these two albums more than the debut album, but I think they were all enjoyable despite that tragic event that kind of made it weird listening to these albums. Up next, we have this one here, A Leap Through Matter by Flight. This is new wave of traditional heavy metal, inspired a lot by 70s metal, in my opinion. Sounds like these guys really like Thin Lizzy, and, you know, I cannot blame them for liking Thin Lizzy. All the songs on here are good, but it's a little bit backloaded, if you know what I mean. Out of the four last tracks, there are three tracks which to me are just fantastic and the best tracks on the album. The other tracks are good, but Right On is amazing and Reviving Waves and also Leave the Coast, just amazing songs. This is great stuff. If you like your new wave of traditional heavy metal, check out Flight because they actually slap. Up next, we have this one here, Freak Kitchen, self-titled. Uh, so the musicians in this band, they are just crazy good, amazing, and they are fantastic songwriters. Sadly, that doesn't really shine through that much in this album. To me, most of the songs on here are kind of boring and bland, just 90s rock songs. Um, and then the singer is going for a typical 90s kind of hard rock, maybe grunge, alternative rock style of singing. So, yeah, for the most part, this is kind of a boring album, but you do have a couple of songs with those quirky elements that I like this band for, and a couple of songs where their musicianship really shines through. Um, Bull, I think, is a great song. That's kind of like a weird kind of uh, hard rock song with progressive elements and playing around with different genres and different instrumentations yeah, and different not just subgenres of rock, but different genres of music, and it works very well. That's a great song. I also think that Six Dildo Bob and the Bluegrass Samba from Hell, that's an instrumental showcasing the amazing skills of the guitarist. I think that one is pretty cool too. Uh, there's a song called Mr. Cashel and the 13 Prostitutes, which it's kind of a silly song, but it's fun and it's quirky and it brings to the forefront some of the stuff that I like about Freak Kitchen. Regular Guy is pretty good too. This one is kind of backloaded as well, with, in my opinion, the good songs appearing towards the end of the album. Most of the songs I think are boring. They don't do it for me, but a couple of good moments and good songs that this album does have, uh, that's because of those songs that I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna keep this in my collection, and I think what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna have it on in the background, and then I'm just gonna pay attention when the good songs, you know, start playing. This one here, Spanking Hour by Freak Kitchen. This is much, much more up my alley. This is heavier, and this has a lot of those quirky moments. The songs are more interesting. You got some just crazy guitar solos on here as well. This one is great. This is the Free Kitchen that I really like. Um, the lyrics on both of these are kind of dumb, but whatever. It's humor. Right. This one is great. This one, this one really slaps. This is if you like your hard rock and amazing musicianship and heavy guitar tone, a little bit of humor, a little bit of quirkiness. Check this one out. Banking Hour. This one rocks. So love this one. That's awesome. And up last we have this EP here, uh, Rolling Quartz's Victory. So this one has 4 tracks on it, and it starts out with the title track, which is it's super heavy when it starts. It's almost like groovy, like groove metal light, and then it kicks into a more like a straight up, more melodic hard rock song. And I actually like that. That the opening track kind of goes back and forth between very heavy and being quite melodic. The rest of the songs are more straightforward rock songs, melodic rock songs, or I should say melodic hard rock songs. And they are actually pretty enjoyable too. But the standout track on this EP is the title track, Victory. The other songs, maybe it's just because Victory is so heavy and so, in my opinion, great, that the other songs are kind of obscured a little bit, if you know what I mean. So I think the other songs are probably better than the impression I have of them, and I actually already think that they're pretty good. So yeah, this one is good for sure. Melodic, modern, hard rock. If you like your hard rock, your melodic rock, your modern classic rock, if you know what I mean, this one is definitely worth checking out. So yeah, Victory by Rolling Quartz. So there you go, a bunch of CDs. Most of them I think were actually pretty enjoyable. Some of them had some weak moments for sure, but as always, check them out on your own, see if you like them or not. Thanks for watching.